So many people have asked me, being their chiropractor and their coach, what are the things that I can do in terms of lifestyle so that I can improve my spinal health, my general health, and also improve performance? Now, these 6 things will help you with specifically spinal health issues, general health, but also your ability to perform better as a human being, because these 6 things are human improvement factors, if you will, and they will help you whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're a grandparent, whether you're a teenager, or whether you're a business person. What are they? They spell A.B.C.D.E.S. The A.B.C.D.E.S. Okay? We'll start with the S. Again, very basic human things. S for sleep. I can't say how important it is. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get high quality sleep. If you get your sleep in order, it can literally transform your potential, like I said, from a health perspective and from a performance perspective. We know that if we start depriving you of high quality sleep, minute by minute, hour by hour, you'll see a natural decline in your performance as a human being, right? And if I was to give you one sleep recommendation, it would be that to master your sleep, to get your sleep right, doesn't start with an evening ritual, a winding down routine only, although that could be very important. It actually starts in the morning with getting your circadian rhythm in order by making sure you get sunlight first thing in the morning. Because remember, your brain doesn't know what time it is. Internally, your body doesn't know what time it is. Our biological clock is actually synced with the sunlight. And so when you get light exposure in the morning, it gets all the hormones, it gets your whole sympathetic nervous system, it wakes it up. And it also then knows what time, 12 to, let's say 12, 14, 16 hours from then, when it should start a completely different system to kick in, which is your parasympathetic, and get you ready for sleep. So high quality sleep, the first of these 6 factors, starts with getting those sunlight, getting those sun rays, getting those photoreceptors in your eyes stimulated by the powerful sun. And just so you know, if you want to know how powerful the sunlight is compared to the light you get in your house, because you might feel like it's bright inside, just download a lux meter on your phone, and you'll be able to figure out that outside is probably hundreds of thousands. It's probably 100,000, 115,000 is the largest number I've seen on my phone. And in your house, it's in the hundreds, maybe 1,000 if you have really, really bright lights. Okay, so first thing out of these 6 factors is getting your sleep in order. And one tip, there's many, but one tip would be to get sunlight exposure first thing in the morning, closer to sunrise as possible, okay? All right, let's work backwards. So now we're at the E. E is a very simple one. Again, very basic human factors. E stands for exercise. And everyone knows that we're built to move. In fact, some neurobiologists argue that the vast majority of our brain has evolved and is dedicated to allowing us and enabling us to move throughout your environment, right? The brain doesn't move, but it gets everything moving, right? So exercise is powerful. And when it comes to exercise, if I was just to give you, one tip, that would be not to be one-dimensional. So if you have strength, that's fantastic, but you also need strength, flexibility, and endurance. If you have endurance, that's fantastic, but you also need strength and flexibility. And if you have flexibility, you need strength and you need endurance. Okay, many endurance athletes are very inflexible. Many endurance athletes don't have strength. And you get many bodybuilders that have strength and power, but they don't have flexibility and endurance. And many yogis are very flexible, but they don't have the other 2. So you want to try to balance the 3 if you want to be, if you want to improve your longevity and improve your ability to be active. Now, having said that, I also want you to remember that when it comes to exercise, it's very important to balance your activity, your exercise, with inactivity, rest and relaxation. So you can see how the exercise and sleep, or exercise and recovery, exercise and inactivity, and exercise and relaxation go hand in hand. So it's important to get balance with these 2. All right, the next one is D. So the ABCDES, we're at D now. D obviously is diet. And diet is so important. And what I always say, and I've written a book called Etology, what I talk about in the book is the fact that no human being, okay, should copy another person's diet, right? Every human being has their own unique way of eating. And the secret to life, or the secret to mastering your diet is in your life, is to figure out, and many people live an entire lifetime and never do this, to figure out what is the ideal diet for you. Because what everybody wants with their nutrition is they want their nutrition to deliver 3 results for them, at least 3. These are the main ones. And the acronym is ICE, I-C-E. We want to get to our ideal weight, and we want to stay there for life. We don't want to be yo-yoing up and down. And minor fluctuations, a kilo or 2, obviously happens, over the holidays, and depending on whether you've had a bowel movement, how much water you're retaining, okay? And if you've just been sick, you fell under the weather, for example, so you're going to drop a couple kilos if you had lost your appetite for a little while. So ideal weight, and try to stay as stable as possible. Number 2 is C, controlling your health and your digestive health specifically. That's what we want our diets to do. And the third thing is and that's why many diets fail, is because of this third thing, is that we also want our diet to bring us energy and enjoyment of food, right? And many diets are unsustainable because you lose that enjoyment factor, and maybe you feel energetically compromised at some level. So ICE, when it comes to diet, get to your ideal weight, stay there for life, control your health and digestive health, and boost your energy and enjoyment of food. That's what every human being wants. Now, sometimes when it comes to nutrition, the best thing for you is actually to fast. Sometimes we're always thinking about consuming nutrients to make us healthy, but sometimes it's going a period of time without food that actually might be the best thing for you. There's something called autophagy, which is Nobel Prize winning work by a Japanese doctor. I can't remember his name. I always mispronounce it, so I'll just avoid saying it. But I'll just tell you that autophagy, or autophagy, however you like to pronounce it. Auto means self, and phagy means eat. So when you're fasting, your body's in what's called autophagy, which is where it's actually eating itself, if you will. It's eating up, broken down materials. It's recycling. It's renewing, and it's basically, becoming more efficient at that point. And so sometimes when you're not putting food into the system, it gives your body a chance to clean house, so to speak. Okay, so that's the D for diet. C stands for 2 things. It stands for chiropractic, and it also stands for correct posture. So I usually mention that it stands for correct posture if someone's already under chiropractic care, and if someone's not under chiropractic care, I do recommend that they consider going to a chiropractor and having their spines checked. All spines wear down in all human beings and all vertebrates except 2, the bat and the sloth. So it's important, just like we check our teeth, to check our spines, and this applies to people of all ages. Correct posture is powerful because if your postures are improper, then what happens is you accelerate this degenerative process in the spine. And if your postures are done right, then you slow down this degenerative process. And if I was to give you one thing, I just want you to be aware of the fact that when it comes to posture, the most important postures to focus on are the postures you do most. And for most people, it's going to be sleep posture, sitting posture, and technology-related posture. Because if you think about it, we sleep about 6 to 8 hours. That's a quarter to a third of our life. We're sitting another 6 to 8 hours. That's another quarter to a third of our life. And most of the time, when we're not sleeping at least, we're on some sort of technology. So it's important to get our postures right when we're on the laptop, on the phones, on the iPads, and watching TV and that kind of thing. All right? I'm going to have a whole section on how to master these different postures, but let me go to the next one, which is B, and that's breathing. I know breathing sounds like kind of a no-brainer, duh thing that we need to be doing to be healthy, but most people, for many reasons, breathe improperly. And we breathe improperly many times because we overeat and sleep, we put on weight, we hug our parent who's emotional at that moment and is breathing from their chest instead of their tummy. So we pick that up and we store that information as this is how we're supposed to breathe. And we lose what we call belly or diaphragmatic breathing. And it's so important from a spinal perspective, from a general health perspective, even mental health. And it's so important from a performance perspective, especially if you're athletic, to be breathing from your diaphragm. All right? So hugely underappreciated, essential there in terms of breathing. The last but not least is attitude. Now I pick the word attitude, not saying you have a bad attitude, but just I needed an A word to represent our mind. And it's such a powerful thing because we know that the mind-body connection, in fact, some can argue that the mind and body are separate things or that they're one and the same, but nevertheless, the mind affects your body, right? Your state of mind affects how your physiology functions. When you're emotional, your hormonal balance changes. Your nervous system function shifts to one or the other, right? So we know that it's so important to have emotional resilience and emotional stability. And when people are emotionally volatile, up and down, it can cause havoc when it comes to your health, okay? So what would I say here if I was to give you one thing? I would share with you a Warren Buffett quote. Warren Buffett said, "You'll never manage your money until you manage your emotions." Now, why am I talking about finance? Because it's true not only for finance that if you don't manage your emotions, you can't manage your money, but it also applies to health. If you don't manage your emotions or master your emotions, you'll mismanage your health because it throws when your psychology's off, it throws your biology off. So it's really important to be able to, I always say that like the past is the past and people are people. You can't control people and you can't control your past. These are probably the two biggest things that will impact your emotional state. I don't see people that, almost 15 years or so living in Abu Dhabi, 30 some years living in Canada. I rarely get someone come in complaining about the weather. Like they're truly not emotionally, distraught because of the weather. When someone is emotionally distraught, it's usually because of some past event that is re-triggered, or they're emotional because of some interpersonal conflict, or they're beating themselves up, again, back to a person. So it's either the past or people. You can't change the past, you can't change people, but the one thing you can change is the effect they have on you, which means that you can change the way you feel. You can decide how you feel every single day. And when I coach people on states of mind, I'm a master NLP coach. I'm also a Martini Method facilitator. I use the Martini Method a lot in my coaching. And what I would say to you guys is this point, and that is that every human being, I believe, wants three things. At least these three things, many other things we all want, but these are three foundational things. One is we want to wake up inspired, just like my son. If we have a school trip or if we have a trip to the beach, he's so inspired because it's so important to him and he can't wait. So we want to wake up inspired that way. We want to wake up and say, God, I can't wait for this day to begin. So that's number one. We want to wake up inspired. We want to go to bed grateful. And in between, we want to chase a dream. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants at the end of the day to say, I can't believe I had that day and I can't wait for another day. And when it comes to gratitude, I'll tell you right now, it is a really, really important and often missing piece in the healing process, is to feel gratitude and grateful. And if you want to know if you are grateful, whatever that stressor is, you need to find benefits in it. Because if you say, Alhamdulillah, or I'm grateful, and then you can't find benefits in the very thing that's stressing you out, you're truly not there. You're intellectualizing and maybe just saying the words and going through the motions, but you're really not feeling it. And so we want to wake up inspired, go to bed grateful, and in between, we want to chase a dream. We all want to be, waking up and chasing that adventure. We all want to be inching forward in our lives and seeing progress and seeing that we're getting somewhere. We all have this thing in mind that we're shooting towards, that we're reaching towards. All of us, deep down, we have these things. And I even argue that deep down, every single one of us wants to leave a legacy. We never want to be forgotten. I just found out recently that Michael Jackson, before he passed away, left 200, if I'm not mistaken, 200 recorded pieces of music that he's going to have released every year. So just imagine 200 years after he passes away, he's actually still touching the world with his music. Whether you're a Michael Jackson fan or not, that's not the point. The point is that just think, I think deep down we're all trying to leave an immortal mark on the world. So these are the 6 things that you have control over when it comes to spinal health, general health, and human performance overall, right? Some things are out of your control, like gravity. You can't control the gravity unless you're planning on getting on a spaceship, which is happening, with Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos, and you want to go to some other planet where there's no gravity. Until then, you're going to be on a planet with gravity. So we can't change that. We can't change the fact that this decay process happens in our spines. We can't change the fact that people will constantly be around pushing our buttons. So, but the things you can control are the ABCDEs, okay? A for attitude, B for breathing, C for chiropractic and correct posture, D for diet, E for exercise, and S for sleep. Do these things wrong, and they're working against you. Do these things right, and they're working for you. Every day you'll be more and more empowered. So please share, and please apply these 6 things. And if you guys are finding value in these videos, I'm not going to be shy in asking, because I've spoken to people who have many, many followers on social media, and they are suggesting to ask. So please, guys, if you find value, please share, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Can't wait to keep bringing value to you. Feel free to comment and let me know if there's any specific subject you'd like to hear more about. All right? Thanks and take care.